camera, making sure it's focused properly. And I'm sitting on the balcony, like the porch, looking out over the ocean here, the Fijian Ocean, just down here in front of me. We're in this beautiful beret, and the resort, as I said, is in Amali. One incredible place. And I'm actually just thinking about my life. You know, over the years, I have spoken to so many people about getting to the end of your life and looking back and asking the question that I have asked myself so many times. Probably the most serious question you can ask, certainly for me, and that is, when I get to the end of my life, or you get to the end of your life, and you're sitting, as it were, on the porch, the castle of my brain, sitting on the porch, looking out over a sunset, which I'm doing right now. Sunset's actually coming in from this direction, looking out over the ocean, and review my life, what I've done, what I've been. The question I've asked myself so many times is, when I get to that point, who will I have to have had been? What will I need to have done in order to feel that my time on earth was well spent? What will I need to have done? Who will I need to have been in order to feel that my time on earth, in the main, none of us are perfect. I don't think we should beat ourselves up for being human and having failings. But in the main, who have I been? What have I done? So that when I get to the end of my life and look back, I will be, in the main, satisfied with the time spent. Now, I always imagined I'd be old and grey before I asked that question of myself, in all seriousness, given even the opportunity to be able to know that you've come to the end of your life. But as I sit here today, or this evening, I am asking myself that in all seriousness, because I am coming to the end of my life. The chances of me surviving this disease is no more than 1%. So I have to face the fact that, although I hope for the best, I need to prepare for the worst. And I'm asking myself that question right now. That question I've asked myself in theory so many times before. That question I've asked so many people in theory. Asking them what they would consider the criteria that they could sit in this position and be satisfied that time on earth was well spent. Well, I need to ask myself that now in all seriousness. And I actually sat here last night as the sun went down, and for the first time I realised, my goodness, I am asking myself that very question from a point of view that this is probably the time that needs to be asked, because there's very little I can do about the past now, and there's very little future. Probability speaking. So I look at myself and I think, yeah, I've had a lot of failings. There's stuff that I've done that I'm not proud of, but it's only minor stuff in comparison, and I need to forgive myself for that. And I've also reached out to people that I have done things that I'm not proud of and not at peace with, and I've done my part to try and fix that. In most cases, I've succeeded, and that bit, so I'm at peace. I can't control other people's responses, but I can control, my business. So, I'm at peace. But the thing that has made the big difference is this, and I'd just like to share this with you before I go. I have worked well with a life list. It's a list of things that I want to do with my life. It's a list of values that I want to adhere to. And at the end of the day, I've learned a couple of things by pondering these questions. It's not the money you have, it's what you do with it. It's not the stuff you have, it's the relationships you build. At the end of the day, I can tell you from personal experience that nothing matters in this situation that I find myself in. The only thing that matters is relationship. Now, where does stuff come into that? I've worked a lot of my life to create finance, to buy things, to do stuff. Well, if it's just stuff for stuff's sake, it's meaningless. But if it is things that you buy or invest in that helps build relationships, then it makes it meaningful. At the end of the day, my relationship with the woman of my dreams, who has given me 30 years of absolute heaven here on earth, she is paramount. It's a relationship with her that means more than anything else in the world right now. Relationship with my children, paramount. But the things that have brought us together are places that we have been, and of course it's cost money to do that. The experiences that we've had cost money to do that. And there's also the relationship you have with yourself, and sometimes it costs money to do that. But if it's just stuff for stuff's sake, it's totally meaningless. So as I sit here, I still have a life list. Achieved 60 something things. Still have 80 odd items on the list. And I'm ticking off those still that are relevant, that I can do. I haven't given up on life yet. The fat lady hasn't sung yet. So I still have a life list that I'm working through. I showered under a waterfall. It was damn cold. I happened to be in West Australia in the middle of winter. I had envisaged somewhere like Fiji. Should have waited perhaps, but it doesn't matter. I want to sleep a night under the stars. And maybe here in Fiji, or maybe back in the Whitsundays is a good time to do that. But I will do it with my family, because it builds relationship, and relationship is all that matters. So we're still working through that life list. Now Mandy's a very different person. She can operate fully functionally, entirely different to me, with a life list of about 3 things on it. But I need a life list to actually work through, to feel that I've spent my time well. A list of values that I want to adhere to, and so forth. And my values are this. Integrity for me is number 1. Total integrity. After that comes love. And after that comes health. There are others in the list, but they're my 3 top. They work for me, but it's not necessarily for other people. We're all built differently. We're all wired differently, make our decisions differently. That is me. Integrity, love, and relationship. Mandy, for instance, love comes first. And I can see why. But like I said, we're all wired differently. So, if a life list, do you think, would improve your life, so that when you get to the end of your life, whenever that may be, and hopefully you will have an opportunity like me to review your life in all sincerity, then I maybe you can get to the end of your life and feel that your time was, in the main, well spent. Because it just leaves you in peace. And then it doesn't matter whether it happens at 20 years old, or 52 and a half as I am, or 80 or 90 or 105, which I aim to be. Got halfway. I'm glad to have made it halfway. It doesn't matter when it happens, you'll be able to look back at your life with satisfaction to know that according to your criteria, your definition, whatever that may be, you can leave this planet with a total feeling of peace, a feeling of gratitude for being able to spend time in the sun, and you live the life that you chose to live without conforming to people and to society, and without trying to make so many people happy, which is impossible to do. You can decide how you want to live. And in that regard, I encourage you to take a good look through the website To Live By Choice. It was going to be my next major project for the next 10 to 20 years of my life. And maybe in some ways it can still live on. My message to you is decide how you're going to live. Set your parameters, set your values, decide exactly what you want to achieve, both in relationship and other ways. Write it down, follow it, live in the moment, never say never, never put off. As Tony Robbins says, when would now be a good time? It's always a good time to do, so that if your life is cut short, or if you live a full and healthy life, it doesn't matter. It's not the time that we're given, but what we do with the time that we're given. And whenever it comes to an end, and you look back on your life, whether it be your life list, or in this case looking back over 52 and a half years, whenever that comes, my message to you, my wish for you, is that you can find peace and satisfaction and know without a shadow of a doubt that your life was well spent, that your time on earth was well invested. And I'm not suggesting that you try and be perfect. We need to let go of our human nature and understand we all do make mistakes. But in general, most of us, the vast majority of people, in my experience, do the best with the resources they're given at the time. We normally make the best decisions we possibly can, given the information and the resources that we have at the time. It's easy to live your life in hindsight, looking back and say, well, I'd do it differently now. We'd all do it differently now. The question is, what was the intent at the time? What was our intent? Was it to do good or to not do good? And the majority of us want to do good and do the best we can with the resources we're given at the time. And if we make mistakes, let it go. Accept that. And look at our intent. And our intent, if it was pure, we can live with no regrets. That's my message to you. And if you can find something in the To Live By Choice site to help you on that journey, then I would be honoured that you would choose to do that. So, whatever happens from this point forward,